It's the FooRcast. I'm Gavin Ford.
I'm Aki.
Double T.
We run record labels and are artists, so we release music every week from people all across the world. So we share our wisdom and stories, and hopefully these can be of some use to people.
Yep.
What we talk about this week, O-Dog, the Bassline Bear?
Well, the big question is underground music becoming mainstream? And the reason I asked that is because I spent part of my Friday night watching Sammy Virgie in one of the biggest boiler room I think I've ever seen. And also, Window Kid has just been announced as in the UK top 40.
Yes, Window Kid.
Yes, Window Kid.
And Nathan Dorr.
Two artists who I spent a lot of my younger years going out to see in tiny little clubs and now are huge. I was chatting to my mate's brother the other day, and when I told him I'd gone to see Window Kid at Engine Rooms the other week, he said, "Is that the guy off TikTok?"
Yeah, Window Kid's smashing it on TikTok, isn't he?
Yeah, I feel like TikTok's probably helped as well.
Oh yeah, it can't all be bad. That's definitely.
And obviously, like the boiler room was in Denver, was it America?
Yeah.
And, like, I mean,
their
knowledge of garage probably was nothing
Yeah.
a couple of years back, and now
We call it UK Garage, and they've just done a massive show in the US.
No, it's amazing to see. So I think Virgie's just done a UK tour, sold out everywhere. He's in America now touring.
I would say, like, would you say, like, obviously you're saying underground has got, I just think when something gets popular, it kind of rises
I think
to popularity, to being more commercial.
I think it's the same as it's always been. I think the big dance records still chart. They used to do Shy FX, Shake Your Body, and all Marky and LK stuff like that. Like the big dance records, Backbone now, like they chart. It's probably, I don't know if it's.
Does it feel bigger now because of social media?
Obviously, we were around when it first came around garage, and there was an underground scene, and then it obviously went commercial. I'm getting a similar vibe to that. Because like 5 years ago, garage was still really underground, and now we're seeing Virgie and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess it's the best in a garage sense. Talk about it from garage. This is the best garage has been since it was around the first time.
Yeah.
Like there's people releasing different types of garage. People touring the world doing garage. Like there's big garage. Like Shellerverse is a huge record. Like in anyone's set. Like I'm sure like the old guard will play that as well in set. So I think for garage, this is the best garage has been for a long, long time. And like as you say, that boiler room is in Denver. It's in America. So, the Americans definitely, I don't think they took garage that much the first time round. So to have it going there, and there's like there's Hans Glader and stuff in America.
We like Hans Glader.
So now, but I think the first time round, we didn't really have producers. Well, Todd Edwards was really the only guy, really.
Yeah.
And maybe Armand Van Helden made a similar sort of garage sound, but you didn't really have like a scene or producers. Now you'll find that there's a lot of producers coming out of the US making garage, which is a different.
We work with garage artists all over the world now, don't we? Around the world in UKG.
Yeah, we've done four around the world in UKG albums.
Some of the countries it's coming from, you're like, wow, like.
And we got from our ones to watch next year. 2 of the artists are from Australia, from the ones to watch next year, which we'll give more information about soon.
Again, I feel like Australia, they probably didn't take it the first time, and this time it's.
Yeah, people tour in Australia all the time.
Yeah,
and like even new artists like Ethan and Jackham have just toured Australia.
Yep.
Like obviously Virgie's massive for him to go to America. It's like thing, but there's
Smokey Bubble and Bee just been there.
Smokey Bubble and Bee's just been to Australia. So yeah, it's really taken over there. And to have 2 artists from the same crop of ones to watch is crazy.
Yeah, we can mention Jackham as well. Australia tour. He's just had a single release on UKF, but he was one of our ones to watch.
He's one to watch 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago in January.
Yeah.
Do you remember how that came about?
Well, I remember the demos coming in. I was like, "This is." But he was making it's more of a disco kind of vibe.
He played. Yeah, we were playing his records before when we were doing. I don't know what we're doing. Was it radio?
We were doing like live streaming on.
We're doing live streams every Monday.
Facebook.
Yeah, and we used to get tunes sent in, and I remember some of these tracks come in, and we started playing them. Wow! Like straight away, I was like, "These are wicked."
Yeah, he's a great producer. It's great to see him doing well.
Obviously, his music's gone in a bit of a different direction to when we first got it, but
yeah, it's great to see him doing well. And like Banquet as well.
Banquet's the other one I was going to say. We just had a track of his, Sublime Hit, 1 million streams.
Yeah, his first track to 1 million. And obviously, like, Banquet have only been doing it a couple of years. Like, the growth of Banquet is incredible. It's be 2 years almost to the day that they released the first record with us.
Mornings, I think it was.
So yeah, now, you know, they're working with incredible people, and like they're going around he's going around doing lots of gigs. It's great to see this, you know, I think the
first release on the Defective
Defected Garage label. I think one of the best things about us running all these labels is obviously our sort of dedication is to helping artists who are first with their first releases, because obviously we always said that no one ever helped us when we started, so if we ever got to a position we would help people. And now that we're in a position to help people, it's great to see people who had their first releases with us or were our ones to watch go on to do so well. Ashton's just remixed one of our records that's just come out, and now he's up to plus 40,000. He's only 15 years old. We've worked with him since he was 11, did production classes, taught him how to do mix downs, do all of this stuff. So that's like getting to the point where we're teaching people, and there's other artists that we're spending time to teach them, rather than just going, oh yeah, we like your music, let's put it out, which is great. But there are artists like, oh, let's help you with this and let's help you with that.
Well, we've got Aislinn on our Yosh bass labels, drum and bass producer.
Yeah, so Aislinn is an incredible drum and bass producer. His production's so clean, and he's been working with Tengu, and Tengu's just helped him just polish up his stuff. He's just remixed one of our records as well that'll be coming out soon, and he's remixed one of your records that'll be coming out soon.
And me and him have got a track together, which will hopefully be coming out next year.
But we don't do Yosh ones to watch anymore, but he would have been our ones to watch for this year, and he's only had 3 records out this year, but one of them's already done 100,000 streams.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the quickest to ever get to those sort of numbers. So he would definitely be a one to watch for next year. He's an amazing producer. If you like, I guess, a sort of sub-focusy type sound,
dance floor.
Who doesn't like the sub-focusy type sound? But yeah, definitely. He's definitely one to check out.
It says a lot that within his first year, you as FooR have asked him to remix one of his tracks because you've been taken by his sound.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah, real big fan of his production, real fan of his sound, and I think, yeah, there's not many people we'd let touch our record, Zach, is there?
Definitely not him. Also, I think Sky High, another garage producer on our label.
He was one from ones to watch this year. He's been really, really good. He's taken on really well. His content game is really good. If you're a producer and you want content ideas, go have a look at him, because I think he may have done a video every day all year.
We tell all of our artists to do what Sky High does, because he's so good on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, if you're a producer and you're looking for, he's literally constantly doing it. So he works.
That's what these artists have in common. Jackham, Banquet, they're all active on social media.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do it as much anymore, but they were posting daily. That's what Sky High's doing now, so he'll blow up soon enough. Yeah, there's definitely a pattern. Being a producer and making music is like going to the gym. Like, you have to go to the studio every single day, and you'll generally see your sounds get better and better. We've gone to the studio every week for the last 10 years, like, without fail, and you see it generally gets better and better and better. But I think if you go to the gym, you'll start to see improvement. You don't see it after one session, you'll see it after time. But content is like doing steroids. Like, because if you get the steroids, you're going to blow up much quicker than someone who isn't doing steroids. So that's my analogy.
Good analogy, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying that it's really important that you have content along with your...
No, I'm not saying to people to actually do steroids.
But you're saying, like, in order to grow, you need to do content.
If you want to grow quicker, you got to do content. You don't, like... I know there's a lot of people that say you have to do it and you have to do things like... You can just make really good music, and the best way for music to travel and the best way for it out there is someone hearing your song, loving it, and then telling someone else, oh, I like this song. There are certain types of music that I hear, songs, and I hear it, I've got like a group of like 5 or 6 people like, yo, you're going to like this, you're going to like this. And I think that's still the best way. Music still grows like that. And obviously your Spotify algorithm, if someone's listening to your song all the way through, and Spotify works with scores, so if your song's so good, people keep listening to it all the way through and they're adding it to playlists or they're sharing it, then that's going to go through, and then Spotify is going to put it in front of other people. So if your music has to be good to do that, so that means you have to go to the studio like 2 hours a day or
Yeah.
1 day a week, or whatever your plan is, but you've got to turn up every single day. But your content will get more ears on it sooner, which will help boost the numbers and help get it out there.
The gym analogy applies to things like TikTok as well. You've got to be on there, posting stuff, interacting with other stuff as well.
You've got to go on TikTok every day and post even when you don't want to. Once one video takes, Selector used to do the garage breakdowns, and he do them and no one thing, and then he did one, the Eminem one, which did 1 million, and then afterwards all of them went mental, every single one from then. But he did months and months and months of doing them, and no one was watching.
So do you think, like, it's difficult for people to listen to your original music these days, and I'm noticing a lot of people like make bootlegs, try and get a bit of traffic coming your way. Do you think that's the best way of getting people to listen to your music, or?
I don't know if it's the best way, but it almost feels like a cheat code, because we do it all the time with Shed and Yosh.
What we do is we release an original, and then we release a bootleg 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
And then so the original week 1 you get release radar on Spotify. So week 1 it should get natural pickup and thing. Obviously, you need to do, the more releases you have, the bigger your release radar. The more followers you have, the bigger release radar on Spotify.
Yeah.
So week 1, you do it and you let it, the natural momentum goes. You've done your out now videos, or your coming soon. The first week is usually, your best week.
Yeah.
So then the second week, when it dies down, we release a bootleg. And then the bootleg you have to download. As a download gate, you have to like the tune on Spotify and follow on Spotify. So following on Spotify builds up the release radar for the next one. Liking the tune builds up the thing on this one. So that should give it a second lease of life. You can also put money on Hyped It, which is the gate program we use, which can push it through if you've got that money. That's the second week. And that's what we also try and encourage all the new artists to do, because DJs will always download songs to play in their sets, especially bootlegs of stuff that's known. It is a great way to get people ears on your song first.
People watching, how often would you say they should release a song? Also,
in terms of Spotify pitching, if we're working with an artist, say someone like Ashton, that we want to have lots of releases from him, and we want to make sure that every release gets the right amount of time to pitch it and the right amount of breathing space that people are
the maximum opportunity.
Then you probably want one every 4 weeks or 3 weeks in between every release.
Yeah.
Otherwise, things like those Spotify algorithms and that, they get messed up, and some things won't go to your release radar. Some things won't go into Spotify's radio.
Yeah, it works two ways. If you're, as I said earlier, you need a lot of Spotify followers, and you need a lot of music in Spotify for it to work out your algorithms and put into it. So there's two things. There's two ways of looking at it.
Yeah.
If you're a new artist and there's not much music, you want to releasing as much as possible, and you want to be doing, say, a minimum every 3 weeks, because that's when you can pitch. So once the record goes, you can pitch again after 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And the more you put into it, again, the music has to be good. Like, you can't just chuck out crap. But if you release constantly for 3 weeks and you build up that Spotify, the more information you give to Spotify, the better it's going to be to help you. So that's the first thing to do if you're just starting. The other thing to do is Spotify is built off scores, and it can take about. We just released a record called Oh No with Wavy Soph, and that's just gone into radio mode or discover mode or whatever you want to call it on Spotify. So now it's doing the most amount of streams, and it come out at the end of August, so at the start of August. So it's September, October, November. 3 months it took to get into radio mode. We released records in between. It wasn't just the only record. We didn't stop and wait. You can release records in between, but we kept promoting Oh No for 3 months. So we promoted it via the bootlegs that we said about earlier. Wavy Soph, the singer, she done loads of videos singing it, and we kept doing those even after it come out. We got a remix with Local, which come out like bang in between of the 3 months, and then the original waterfall down to it.
Yeah.
So by doing that reignited it and like pushed more people to the thing.
Waterfalling just means that it's like the B-side on the track. So if people are just listening to it on their phone, it will go straight from that remix to the original. Waterfalling
is when you put the song that you're trying to push underneath and the old song. And the new, when you do a new release, you're putting that old song that you're trying to push underneath it. So if we're releasing someone's EP and the lead track of the EP will always waterfall underneath. And like this, where we're trying to get Oh No going, you put the original of Oh No underneath the remix of Oh No. And you do the same with this Ashton remix that's just come out.
Yeah.
The original goes underneath the Ashton remix.
So I've done for all of my tracks this year, which I've done a bunch of remixes. Sky High, Ason's got one.
I think so. I think an issue is it's obviously people release songs. They might be their best song. They release it and then they just doesn't do great.
Yeah. So
you feel like they should. Is there like you're saying you should not give up on a record
to finish off there? So that's 3 months. 3 months there with the remix, the bootleg, the remix, constant content, and then now it's gone into Discover mode. You can kind of stop promoting it there.
Yeah.
Because it's gone from, in the last week, it's gone from 78,000 streams a week, and now it's doing 130,000 in less than 7 days. So it's almost doubled.
Yeah.
Just from going into that mode.
Right.
But we run some ads on it as well over those 3 months.
Yeah.
But now it's got into that mode of thing. And then you could go, okay, if we were Wavy Soph, we would go, okay, now you do the next one.
Yeah.
Like you're set up and you're ready. But obviously now it's close to Christmas. So if I was speaking to an artist this morning, the artist was saying they had a song that was going to come out and the song couldn't come out. So now they're just writing music. They're just going in the studio, writing music, which is what we're doing. And we do every time of year, this time of year, from November till January, and especially in like around Christmas time, because everything stops. Like obviously spend time with your families and stuff, but as a producer it's like a great time to
lock yourself away and
to make music, and don't
stockpiling tunes,
and don't think about, oh, what's the single, what's this. Just make as much music as you can, go in, try different things, work different things out, and then have a stack of music, and then at the end of the year, start of next year, listen to it and go, this is the first single, that's the second single, or work on that. Because that's what we did at the start, not the start of this, well, we do it every year, but 2 years ago, we had this playlist and it had Nights of Our Lives in. Nights of Our Lives is our biggest streaming song. We had a song with Kenya Grace in there that almost come out, which obviously she went on to have a number one.
Yeah.
But we had like 6 songs or 7 songs in there, I think, and we played it to everyone. And Nights of Our Lives was sort of in everyone's top 3, so we were like, okay, that's the one to go with. And then we planned to do...
So that's what I'm saying. Do you plot a record that you're going to make the main work around it with other records?
2 ways of doing it. If you're a newer artist and you think you've got this big record, then you should definitely put the big record last on your releases. It's as if you just started, and then you do every release building up to the big one.
Yeah.
Because big songs can fall on deaf ears.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
So you want to build up, like get an audience, build up an audience, build up an audience, and build to this big song. That's one way of doing it. If you're an artist and you've got more of a following, and you've got the release radar, you've got the Spotify followers, you've got all this, then I'd keep pushing back to that song.
Yeah, so do you think, obviously you say it falls on deaf ears.
Yeah.
Do you think, it's not working, they just forget about it and move on to the next song and just say, that's just gone? If
you've got a song that you really believe in, you can keep pushing it.
You
should keep pushing it.
Yeah.
But I think after 3 months, if it's not taken, then you might be wrong about the song.
Yeah, but you're saying you should give it 3 months of hard...
You should keep going for it, and you can release music in between. It doesn't matter. Like since Oh No come out, we released a tune with Tengu that did really well. Released the Ashton remix of Surgery, and obviously we did the remix of Oh No. So that's 4. So you don't have to completely stop while she do the free song, because it doesn't stop the popularity of this song that you're pushing.
Yeah.
And especially if you go on, you're doing content where you're re-pushing it on TikTok, you're just pushing back to a song anyway, and TikTok doesn't really date because of the way people engage with it. So, yeah, I would just keep... But to be honest, the other thing as well is, obviously, we help artists because going through our experiences and stuff, but there isn't really a wrong thing to do. As long as you're making music that you're passionate about and you like and you're doing your thing, keep releasing it. And the music's good. As I say, people will find it. It just takes longer. All these things we're talking about are things to speed up the process.
Yeah.
But if you're content making music and just happy to put it out, then eventually you'll get there.
There's a good point you say about TikTok. The old way with social media is that when you scroll through your feed, whether it was Facebook or Instagram back in the day, you're seeing that in chronological order. And people think that if I post something about a song that came out 2 weeks ago, people aren't really bothered about that anymore. But that's not the way that TikTok works as an algorithm. You'll get shown stuff from months ago and you might not even realise it at the time.
Wavy Soph had that as well. So Wavy Soph, one of the records we did to promote Oh No, we sang in front of the decks, which we do for every record. But for some reason, that one connected. And then it goes back to the old videos of her performing it. And then all the new videos went up as well into the... She was getting like 1,000 views per video. Then that one did 70 or 80, and then the next, now they all do 10, 20, and that's the thing. And the record had been, who knows how long the record had been out, 2-3 weeks, And people discover it. We on YouTube now we get, I just discovered this through the remix. I just discovered this through that. And also, if you're an artist and you've got other records, we got 3 records with her now. When Oh No starts to take off, Holding You, the one before that, takes off. Nights of Our Lives goes back up again.
Yeah,
because people were like discovering it through that. So if you base it on releasing, the more records you've got in your thing, you can put more into the other records because it's pushing back to 3 records as opposed to 1. When it's your first song, everything you put into that first song's got to be recouped by that song. But when you're into like 5, 6, 7 songs, the more songs you have, if one of your songs takes off, your whole catalogue goes off. Yeah. We signed Badger's first record, and when he did the Natasha Bedingfield thing, his first record, which was his highest performing before that Natasha Bedingfield, took off.
The Other Side, I think it's called. The Other Side.
It's called The Other Side, yeah.
Yeah, I remember the song. Yeah.
It's a great record. That took off.
Yeah, it was really good.
That took off.
It was like our 3rd most streamed in our catalogue for a few weeks.
So people were discovering Badger through that remix and then discovering his other music. So if you do a record and you're pushing and pushing and pushing, they'll discover the rest of your music. So then the money you're putting into that one record is actually being made back from 10 or 15 or however many you put in. So when you first start off, just put some stuff into, release music once in 3 weeks, pitch everything, keep going, work in the studio, make sure your sound's as good as you can, keep progressing it, and keep going. But if you've got a record and you think it's good, keep going, keep doing content, don't have to stop releasing, just keep doing content, keep doing things, keep pushing back to it, do waterfalling.
Don't be afraid to copy things that you've seen as well. That's all.
Content-wise,
content.
Yeah, not music-wise.
Content-wise, I mean, if you look at anyone's content, it's a version of someone else's content. You don't have to try and discover a new way of doing it. As long as you're comfortable doing it, don't do stuff. If you don't want to dance and TikTok, you don't have to dance and do stuff like that you don't want to do. But find someone whose stuff you connect with and think, I don't mind doing that. Do that and do your own interpretation of it. Yeah, I think that's some good advice for today. Yeah, I think we can.
Good place to wrap.
Yeah, and if you make dance music, send it to our labels.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, if you have any advice, just in the comments or get hold of us.
Put in the comments, or you can send stuff into our labels. We'll put the label email addresses, submission email addresses.
Any questions? Any questions you want to ask us, like personally?
Yeah, like and subscribe.
That's why we do it. Want to help people.
We're here to help. Wallop.